Good afternoon and welcome to the September 2024 meeting of the Rotary Club of Beavercreek. Thanks to Alex Zaharia and David Brandenburg for reading. Thanks for Eric Marcus covering multitude of duties, secretary, setup, tickets, and so forth. Thanks to Beth and Worker when she is here for helping with that. We thank Pete Bales, Mark Weinstein, Mike Zwick for the great programs, and Jim Gundel for handling our website. I'd ask Denny Jarvie to come forward for an invitation.
Well, good afternoon. On this last Rotary meeting this summer. Would you join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, help us understand that no matter what name is given and what language is expressed in the philosophy behind the golden rule is indeed one of the true guideposts by which we should be marking our trail for our existence here. Remind us that if our concepts are universally held as a standard by the people of all nations of faith, there wouldn't be any war and no crimes against each other. We pray that you continue to bless the work that we as Rotarians in many nations and faiths do to help the less fortunate. For we believe the manifestation of this golden rule is buried in our Rotary motto, service above self. Amen.
Thanks, Denny. All right. Eric, do we have a secretary's report?
I have. The secretary will be at work. You will put one person. So on Thursday, we have a lovely guest. So the paperwork. We have 21 Rotarians and 10 guests, 46.7%. Thank you, Beavercreek Chamber of Commerce, for your golf outing today, for attracting our members. Guests. I want to introduce Roger Slow, our ADG. Roger. Shannon Rano.
Okay, so I've got Abby with me here today. Big round of applause for Abby. John, have you introduce yourself. Josh approached our booth at the Popcorn Festival, said, "Hey, what's this Rotary thing all about?" I invited him and said Eric would come to his lunch today. So, Josh, could you give us a little bit of your history?
Hey guys, I'm Josh, Beavercreek resident and Beavercreek High School alumni. Been here pretty much my entire life, and we've been blessed enough through our organization that my wife and I own, which is a special needs day center for adults here in town. And it's going well enough we can kind of open up our sphere of influence. So I'm happy to be here, and thanks for the invitation to Vinny and Shannon. And thanks so much.
Welcome back.
And Sharon had an unusual guest. Oh, and by the way, like I said, here's Abby. Let's see, Rick Morales has guests.
Yes, I have Jessica Thompson. She's an Air Force veteran, just established here after retiring last year, and has worked on F-15 configuration. Right. Can I introduce Christine too?
We say welcome, Erica, first.
And Andrew Hunt has a guest.
Hang on a second. We didn't even say welcome, Eric.
Thank you, sir. And Andrew Hunt has a guest, and Rick is going to introduce.
This is Christine. I just met her, and she's a defense attorney. So she's not with him, but they're friends. So she is Andrew Hunt's, and she's from Beavercreek, and she wants to know more about the Rotary Club.
I think that's all. Our governor's here. She could introduce her guest.
This is my husband, my Uber driver, my guard, and whatever else.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
1 hour. Might have gotten a 50% Rotary attendance by Dr. Brumfield show. So,
47.8.
okay.
It's one more.
All right. All right, introducing our Sergeant at Arms, Chris Hadley.
Don't get there. One more after all.
Brad, you don't get it.
All right, good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, and hello again to our guests, Roger, Alan, Josh, Christy, and Jessica, and of course, our long-term guests, Abby and Karen, and our incredible speaker slash district governor. Today is September 20th, which is the 257th day of the year, which means we are a little over 71% through the year. As far as upcoming birthdays, not as many as last week, but we do have Rick Corrales celebrating a birthday on the 22nd. JD will be celebrating his anniversary with us on the 21st. And then Pete, I'm sure you're well aware you have a wedding anniversary on the 25th coming up. Thank you. Some good things that happened today in history. We're going to go back to 1258. The Salisbury Cathedral was consecrated, which is declared sacred, if that's a new word for some of you, because it was definitely one for me. Over in England, this is considered the oldest example of early Gothic architecture in England. If you get the chance and you're bored, definitely look it up. It is a monster of a cathedral building. The fact that it's been standing there for almost 800 years, kind of impressive. Fast forwarding to 1519, Ferdinand Magellan set sail from Spain on an expedition to circumnavigate the entire globe for the first time. I don't know who all has been on the ocean. I love cruises. I love seeing nothing but blue ocean. But if you were to put me on a boat back then with no GPS, no cell signal, that's a huge no for me. Going to 1968, going back over to England, the Yardbirds started recording their debut album over in London. Only took them 36 hours of studio time, with most of the tracks being recorded live in the studio. They later changed their name and became pretty darn popular. Do anyone know who the Yardbirds changed their name to? Led Zeppelin. 1973, Billie Jean King beat 55-year-old Bobby Riggs in straight sets in the Battle of the Sexes tennis match, which was watched worldwide by an audience of 50 million people in 37 different countries. This next one is perfectly timed. Because if you remember a few weeks ago, I talked about how on this day in history, Cal Ripken broke the record for most consecutive games played in baseball. Well, on this day in history today, 3 years after breaking the record, he ended history at 2,632 games, which spanned over 16 seasons. That game is one of the most televised games in baseball history. When the game reached the fifth inning, marking it a complete official game, there was a standing ovation by not only both the teams, the umpires, the crowd, but also this ovation lasted for more than 22 minutes, making it one of the longest ovations of any athlete. And ESPN never went to a commercial break during that time. Speaking of baseball dominance, if you missed last night, we had a player for the first time since the RBI became an official stat in 1920 to have a game with, whether it's the same game or different games, a game with 10 plus RBIs, 6 or more hits, 5 or more extra base hits, 3 or more home runs, 2 or more stolen bases. That person that did it last night in one game with Shohei Ohtani. On top of that, the Dodgers clinched the playoffs, and he became the first person to have 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a single season. So, decent night for that guy. Speaking of dominance, Beavercreek continuing strong. The ladies golf team took 5th at the Beavercreek Invitational. The men's golf team beat Miamisburg on senior night for them, which definitely is an exciting night. The varsity ladies soccer tied Fairmont 1-1. They beat Lakota West 4-3 and beat Little Miami 1-0. The JV ladies soccer team beat Fairmont 6-0. Varsity ladies volleyball beat Miamisburg 3-0. They also beat Springfield 3-0. The men's varsity soccer beat Fairmont 1-0. Also beat Lebanon 2-1. Men's JV soccer beat Lebanon 2-1 and Miamisburg 9-0. In the cross-country middle school team, the boys took first for their 5th consecutive win, and the girls took second, breaking their win streak. So now they only have 4 straight first places and 1 second place win. If we're looking for some things to celebrate this weekend, today is National Tradesman Day, which concludes National Construction Appreciation Week. Today is also the Bee's Knees Week, which is all about a drink that was made in the Prohibition area that now promotes awareness for our pollinating friends or foes if you're allergic to bees. Today is also 4 p.m. finish day. So if you are going back to the office, just know you have a free pass to be done by 4 p.m. today because that's what the internet says. Going on to Saturday, I'm sorry, International Day of Peace. That began back when we rang the peace bell at the United Nations headquarters in New York. That's also Locate and Hold Friend Day, National Cat and Dog Gut Health Awareness Day, Batman Day, and National Miniature Golf Day. Sunday, because of how these all fall on the same day, it's just kind of funny, to me at least. It is the first day of autumn, it is the fall equinox, and it's also Fall Prevention Awareness Day, which I think they could have put on a different day, a different season, but I'm not in control of the calendars. Monday, we kick off National Inclusion Week, World Reflexology Week. It's also International Week of Deaf People and International Day of Sign Language, along with Educational Technology Day, which I'm sure Paul has that circled on his calendar for sure. Tuesday, we move on to National Punctuation Day, Voter Registration Day, and Bluebird of Happiness Day. So if you do see a bluebird, that is considered to be a sign of good things to come. So keep an eye out for those bluebirds. Wednesday, we're going on to National Daughters Day. It's also National Roadkill Day, which if you are not aware, there is a process to legally become the owner of roadkill in Ohio, which if you're wondering, revised code title 15, chapter 1533 says, except as otherwise provided by individual, the driver of every motor vehicle that has caused the death of deer by striking the deer on a highway may take possession of the deer, provided that within 24 hours thereafter, the driver reports the accident to a wildlife officer or other law enforcement officer. Officer shall investigate, and if the officer finds the death has been caused as alleged, the officer shall give certificate for legal ownership of the deer to the driver. So just highway, you got 24 hours to become the owner of it. And then moving on to Thursday, Thursday, in my eyes, is one of the greatest days to celebrate random things, not because it's Johnny Appleseed Day, Alpaca Day, Lumberjack Day, Chimichanga Day, or Love Note Day, which I learned that the first known love letter date back to 3000 BC, but it is National Human Resource Professional Day. So be sure to show love to all those HR people that you know. Thank you. Also, on a serious note, Thursday is also National Suicide Awareness Day, which is definitely a big thing that they have to do and put up with and deal with on a day-to-day basis. If you're looking for some fun things to do, we still have the fishing derby going on at Phillips Park until the 26th of the month. Wednesday will be the second and last Beavercreek Town Hall over at the Senior Center, which if you have missed the first one, hop on Beavercreek's YouTube page. I highly recommend you check it out, even if you know every single thing about the city of Beavercreek and how they get their money, like grants and finances and things. I would even tell P-Bales, watch it again because there's so much good information on there, data, graphs, numbers, the whole nine. So if you can't make it to the one on Wednesday, definitely check the recording. And then I believe they'll be recording this one as well. So watch the second recording also. And then Friday, we'll probably see a few of our Rotarians missing again, but this one will be for the community conversations with City Council. It'll be the last one of the series from noon to 1 over at the Beavercreek Pizza Dive. So moving on the fines, we're just going to do standard or 2 random ones. Obviously, if you're not wearing a badge, that's $1. If you were late, that's $1. If you have not listened to any of the first three Service Above Self Rotary District 6670 podcasts that are available to listen on podcast streaming platforms or by checking out the Rotary District 667 Facebook page, that's $1. And to be fair, if you manage to be lucky enough to be a guest on that podcast, I will grant you a 3 month of fines. And then secondly, because this trend might start back up with the current restrictions of cell phones in the schools, if you've ever passed love notes at school, that'll be $1.
So there's 330 BC love notes on a tablet or something like that, on stone or something. And fine for the district podcast. It's our happy box. Ready. All right, you can't tell, they got a little bit there. Hey.
Talk like a pirate day, so if you didn't talk like a pirate yesterday, you should walk the plank and all you scallywags, whatever. So it was my birthday, $3. I'm not gonna give the other 72.
All right, right now, happy bucks. Who's got happy bucks? Shannon.
So somehow, I've kind of gotten the bucket list business, and so my wife's aunt is 86 years old. She has never been to the zoo, and I said, "This is insane. We are taking her to the zoo," and she said, "That's her big bucket list on it." So Sunday, thanks for letting me know. Like on the sun and moon will be aligned, and all the critters are going to be going crazy. But I'm glad I get to share something with somebody that's been here that many years, and they just want to go do something simple. You know what I mean?
Who else has a happy buck? Diane.
Two. First one is thanking all of you for your hospitality. This is club number 30 visit out of 45. So 2/3 of the way through all of my visits, and it's only the end of the month. And the other one is just a little bit about me. Yesterday, I saw that the Hallmark Christmas movie listing.
Tom, see you.
My grandson started pilot training in NJET Shepherd Air Force Base. He's been on active duty for over a year. And the pilot training was delayed because all the airplanes are still difficult.
Congratulations. Other happy bucks. Elizabeth?
So last Saturday, the Carol Brown Beavercreek Community Library hosted a teen fan fest. And we had over 200 teens there Saturday night. And I want to thank my husband who I roped into helping me feed pizza to over 200 teens. And many thanks to the pizza diet for helping us out with that program.
I'll put in a happy buck for Beth and the library. The Xenia Library has undergone a lot of transformation, and Spark Place just reopened. And I got to be the first person to go and do some digital printing there. So happy buck is really for the library, Beth and your team.
Other happy bucks. So I gave a happy buck, my daughter and I this weekend, in addition to her playing soccer and us watching it, we will be making cupcakes for a client of mine who's at Trinity and will celebrate her 100th birthday on that.
Wow.
So it's awesome. Yeah. So I asked her like what flavor she wanted, and it's like sometimes we make a lemon buttercream, that's really good, and chocolate. She goes chocolate. More chocolate, the better. The chocolatiest you can make it. So we were going to make people sick with chocolate. Jerry.
An announcement, buck, rather than a happy buck. So, tomorrow morning, we launch out another honor flight from Dayton Airport. And if any of you would like to come up, welcome them back. Come out to the airport about probably 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And be prepared to stand around for a while they get them unloaded from the plane because they're going to be cooked. But they've got a good day as far as our forecast goes, and well, the whole airplane full.
Cool. It's an awesome program. Other happy bucks. Okay, ticket drawing. Remember that half of our proceeds go to the Christmas Basket Project. All right, there's the chance to try and draw the Queen of Hearts, I believe. 1175507.
Right here. There's somewhere. There's something. Joker.
Five crows.
I think it in New York.
Shannon Graham is going to introduce our speaker.
Thanks to everybody who signed the card for Debbie Gross. If you didn't get a chance to sign it, it'll be on the front table, so sign it on your way out. Thank you. So Dottie, right? How many of you guys already know Dottie or have met Dottie before? Okay, so a lot of this information will sound familiar. For those of you who do not know Dottie, she is an educator by vocation.
39 years.
Oh, and in true educator fashion, she wants to make sure facts are correct. 39 years gave her the opportunity to teach, which is very rewarding, to guide through her works. Oh, wait a minute. I know better. So real quick, yesterday, Joe, which isn't here, Joe Jenkins and I delivered some dictionaries. And we wanted to bring this up to Brian. Anybody that's delivered the dictionaries, I swear they're making that print a lot simpler. Usually have the kids look up a word in the dictionary, and so they were looking this word up. And literally me and Joe are sitting here like this going, is that it? So, sorry. Anyway, she guided through her work with the Career Center as a career development coordinator. She improved with her roles as administrator. She was able to develop tech prep program partnerships with Sinclair and Clark State. Dottie started with the Fairborn Rotary Club in 1990. She has multiple Paul Harrisons. During that time, she's filled a lot of positions at the club level, including club president. At the district level, she has helped shape the district into what it is today. Over 10 years, she's been working with RLI, which is one of the program that Eric and one of our past district governors brought to educate our district. She is one of the founding members. For the last 5 years, she's been the district coordinator, taking RLI to the next level. Dottie is a visionary. Her work with Andy Shue is what brought us to the Andy and Elmer Adventures, which is what has brought Rotary to elementary school children. Probably her most proudest thing is her husband, Alan, of 38 years, her 3 beautiful daughters, 2 grandchildren. She feels very blessed that they all are happily married and her life is very good. The one thing I do like about Dottie is that she embraces my motto, how can I help and how can we make this process better? If we could give our district governor, Dottie Mead, a warm round of applause.
Very much. Thank you very much. I need a volunteer. And I'll jump up at once. Oh, here we go. So whenever I say the magic of Rotary, you're gonna need to do this. Okay, hard of the button. Okay, let's practice the magic of Rotary. There we go. All right. Okay, and the rest of you, especially those sitting around her, in case, because there will be a couple of lulls when I won't say the magic of Rotary, and then she might lose attention and, oh, yay, Eric, good job. You have what? Yes, thank you. Thank you. So a couple of things before I get started. I always try to find my connection to the club, and obviously I live in Fairborn, so it's really easy to find my connections to the Beavercreek Club. I did work for a long time at the Greene County Career Center in career development, and then as an administrator. And so I spent a lot of time working on the Education Link Committee, trying to create bonds and connections between business and industry and teachers and students. trying to help them to think about what do I want to do next? And who cares about whether or not I learn math or English or language arts or reading or writing or science or whatever the case. So I spend a lot of time in Beavercreek. And then finally, I have a daughter that actually two daughters who we have a third grandson, two granddaughters and a grandson, and they all live within Beavercreek School District. So two of them are already in school, one at the high school, one at Main Elementary, and then one is only 7 months old. So we'll see what elementary he'll go to. So you mentioned my podcast. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. We just interviewed John Germ yesterday. John Germ was Rotary International president in 2016-17. He lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we interviewed him via the phone yesterday from the Beavercreek Chamber from their facility. And that podcast will hit the air. We're going to talk all about polio, since October is Polio Awareness Month and Polio Awareness Day is on the 24th of October. So that will hit the air on the 1st of October. And he is the most knowledgeable person. We started with give us a little bit of history, and 10 minutes later, we were still talking about where we've come from since the 1970s when Rotary got involved. So you won't want to miss that podcast. I'm excited about Spark Place, all the things I'm hearing. I love Spark Place if you've never been there. David, my mom will be 104 next month. So, and she wants chocolate cupcakes every day.
She's showing off.
No, really, she will be 104 next month. So, and I did ask her the other day, they do a monthly thing for all the residents where she lives. And she said, but I want to give cupcakes out on my birthdays. Like, okay, all right, we can do that. And then I handed a business card today. From Name Brand Distillery. It's out of Middletown. I met them at the Springboro Club a week ago today. And if you ever do a golf outing or you do an event where you have sponsors, they are open. I mean, they gave me a stack of cards to pass out for possible sponsors for your events. So I gave that to Dave. All right, let's start with a quote. If you have the love of your fellow men in your hearts, my friends, you are a potential Rotarian. On June 27th, Rotary founder Paul Harris gave a live radio broadcast from the 1933 convention in Boston. This year, I would like to help all of us to grow our hearts, Rotary. Stephanie Urchik, our Rotary International president, reached out to all the district governors a year ago, and she asked us to find ways to make our clubs irresistible. I even have a sweatshirt that says irresistible across the front. Makes me a little uncomfortable when I wear it, when I'm out in public. However, guess what it does for me? It gives me the opportunity to talk about this amazing organization that I belong to. Just like when you wear your pins and you're out in public, it gives you the opportunity to talk about this amazing organization. So while, yeah, it's a little uncomfortable and people are irresistible, you know, if I turn around on the back, it shows all of our district numbers and everybody who's involved and stuff, but yeah. So wear those pins. Those of you who have been Rotarians for a long time, you know that there was a time when we wore them every day, not just on Friday when we came to Rotary, right? Don't be afraid to do that. Do I go out into my community and talk about this irresistible organization that I belong to? Then in January, Stephanie revealed her theme for the 24-25 year, the magic of Rotary. She again has challenged all of our Rotary clubs to use the magic of Rotary to make our clubs irresistible. Stephanie told us a story about a time when she was in a small country in Africa. She was installing, or they were installing, a water filtration system. The filthy, polluted water would go in on one end, they would turn on the faucet, and out the other end came clean, clear, drinkable water. There was a small boy in the crowd. They turned off the faucet. Small boy in the crowd who said, "Make the magic happen again." Thus, we have the magic of Rotary as our theme for the 24-25 year. Do we look for the magic of Rotary in everything we do? Do we brag and share about the magic of Rotary and the things that we do? There we go. She's keeping up. That's good. Here's what Stephanie wants us to do in our districts. She has several goals. We're just going to share a couple of them here. The first one is to grow by 100 new net members across the district. 45 clubs, that's 2.25 members per club. Doesn't sound like too hard, does it? So you guys dropped 3 last year. I think you went from 66 to 63, if my records are correct. And during just before COVID, you were way up from there. So we have a bounce. I don't call it, we're not in a deficit. We just have a bounce. We have a place to grow. We have a place to go to. Because if we had 84 years ago, we can get back there. We can get back there. We just need to figure out how we're going to do that. How do we show and share the magic of Rotary so that we can get those people back? Goal number 2, 4 new clubs across the district. They can be Rotaract, they can be companion clubs, they can be impact or focus clubs. For those of us who have been Rotarians a long time, we know that our models have changed. If you couldn't come to lunch on Friday, sorry about your luck, right? We don't have to do that anymore. I had to take a 6-year hiatus because at the Career Center, I had cafeteria duty. You can't go to Rotary on Wednesdays at noon if you have cafeteria duty. And the juniors and seniors were not going to be better behaved because I was gone. Right? So we have different models now, and I want to share just a little bit about the companion club. We all know people who would be amazing Rotarians, but can't come to lunch on Wednesday. Can't come to lunch on Friday. Wednesday for us in Fairwood, Friday here. Can't come. I went to the Westchester Liberty Club this morning at 7:30. They can't go to breakfast. How many of you work at Wright-Patterson? Anybody? Yeah, I just heard that introduction. They're right next to Wright-Patterson, but people from Wright don't join our clubs because it's hard to get on, it's hard to get off, we don't really invite them. Our youngest daughter works at NASIC. She goes in before 7:30, she couldn't go to a breakfast meeting. She can't come out, she's not going to leave the base at lunchtime, but she has a heart for giving. So how do we create a club for her and for the people who can't get off the base on a regular basis? Those are called companion clubs. And those of you who remember a satellite clubs, we used to build a group of people, and then we would say, ooh, now you have 20 people, so you can be your club of your own. That's scary. You don't want to grow by 20 and then lose them all, right? So a companion club, the goal is never for them to become a club of their own. They are people who want to do service. They might meet once a month, maybe in an evening or on a Saturday, and the whole idea is to either have some kind of an impact in the community, to do service. It can be very focused, it can be general. But think about the people in your neighborhoods, in your churches, at your work, the people who have hearts for service, but can't get here to lunch on Fridays. Those are sure candidates for a companion club. On November the 14th, we're going to have a Zoom Vibrant Club workshop. If those of you remember Vibrant Club workshops from the past, we should cover just about everything that we do in the district. This year, we're just going to cover membership, and we've got some people who are going to be speaking to us in a little more detail about those companion clubs. I will be sending out some more information in the future. Goal number 3, Stephanie talked to all the presidents-elect in March at President-elect training, and she said, just say yes. If there's a committee that you want to serve on, say, I want to be on this committee, let me help. If there's something that you think is new and different, I think I saw on one of your slides, we're open to new ideas and new activities and new events. Think about what else can we do? What's the new event or the new activity that we can participate in? You already do great things, but maybe there's someone who's saying, I'm not really a part of any committee. I could grow and do something new. And I know there are those of you who are like me. You've been the president, you've been the secretary, you've done your term, you've gone around, you've been the chair of the committees, and you think, I'm just kind of tired. I just want to come to lunch on Fridays. Then my challenge to you is to bring in another Rotarian. Bring in someone that you can mentor, that you can talk to about all the possibilities of Rotary, that you can share the magic of Rotary with someone else. And there's going to be that you can share the someone else taught it before I even did, right? That you can share the magic of Rotary with, all right? Every club has those one or two amazing fundraisers that bring in the money that your club needs to have to be able to do all your philanthropic work. How do I help to grow those projects? Or can I find an additional, something new and something different? Last year, Doug Beakey said to you, this is not your father's Rotary. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Then I challenge you. Whose Rotary is it? I believe we are creating the Rotary for our children and our grandchildren. The Beavercreek Club is you're a beautiful example of things that you do in the community. I know that you do great things. There was a district governor from District 6670 or 6600 north of us who approached one of his clubs, and they were an elderly club, had been Rotarians for a long time, mostly men, who were happy to just have lunch once a week. They were doing good things. They collected a lot of money. His challenge to them was, why don't you bring your grandchildren? Offer to pay their dues for a year. And then guide them and let them get to know the wonderful things that you do in your community. Great idea. I thought, you guys aren't old enough to do that, right? We'll talk about that in another year. Eric looks at me like, oh,
I did that already.
you did? Good.
Yeah, she's out in Missouri at, Cape Girardeau.
Have you encouraged your
Other kids?
club mates here to do this?
No.
I'll do it for you. Right. At International Assembly in January, I was blessed to meet people just like me from around the world. There are 530 district governors in the world, and we all came together for a week of training. I was in a breakout session where there were probably 25 to 30 people. The majority of them were Japanese speaking. The little books that they had in front of them to guide them through the week were written in Japanese. Mine was written in English. I didn't understand what they were saying, but guess what? We were talking Rotary. And so we talked about things, and we were able to talk about membership. And I share that with you only because it really brought to mind that we are a part of something much, much bigger than Beavercreek Rotary. We are a part of something much, much bigger than District 6670. We're a part of a global organization that has 530 district governors just like me. And Stephanie Urchik stood in front of all of us and said, it is my challenge for everyone in the world to grow this organization. Not just Ohio, not just District 6670, not just Beavercreek, but the Japanese people sitting next to me got the same darn challenge that I got. 2 years ago, I was sitting on a bus next to another DG, district governor nominee. And we were talking about the fact that in 2020, the environment had become the 7th area of focus. She had a passion for the monarch butterfly. I remembered as a child, I raised monarch butterflies. My children raised monarch butterflies. My grandchildren raised monarch butterflies. But I really wasn't aware of the devastation that we created to the butterfly. And you can put bee in there, and you can put bird in there, and you can put any kind of insect that we've created devastation that they are dying off in any part of the world or any part of the country. But by the end of that, I was hooked. And I came home and we started an environmental committee in District 6670. I currently have 8 members. We had 5 when I started to do these presentations. I've had 3 more people who've signed up. That committee got together last year and said, what can we do on our day of service for this coming year? And so while we're not coming to Dayton, I apologize, we're not going to do the same thing we've done all these other years. On that same day, on April 26th, we are going to do an environmental day of service. We're 45 clubs, and I invite every one of you, 45 clubs, do 45 projects in the environment in your own backyard. Do something here. Work with your parks department, work with someone that you know that might need help, work with BW Greenway, and come up with an environmental project that you can do here in Beavercreek. 45 projects in 45 communities, all on the same day. Now, Alan and I won't be able to be with you because we'll be in Fairborn with our, but wouldn't it be cool? And all the, now, Johnny, we had her way, we'd all be putting in pollinator gardens. We'd all be planting milkweed, save the monarch butterfly, but it's not up to me. Your people in your parks, your people in BW Greenway, your people here know better the kinds of things that you need. So at International Assembly, I also met Mark Maloney. Mark Maloney is the chair of the Board of Trustees for Rotary Foundation. And he during his talk, he gave us Mark's magical markers. 5 things, 5 magical markers or challenges regarding the foundation. So number 1 was to lead by example. So Alan and I went home and we decided, what can we do with our finances to make sure that we're reaching that challenge? How can we grow our investment in Rotary Internet? So that's good. The second one was we have to grow the number of people who are involved in Rotary Direct. All right, so how many of you have a My Rotary account? So let's see, 56% of you should be raising your hands. All right, 56% of you have a My Rotary account. But if you ever given through Rotary Direct, through that My Rotary account, you guys give great money. I mean, you're amazing donors. You're 56%, the average or the percentage of our district is 35%. So we're in a good place. But I think there's 44% of you who don't have a My Rotary account. So we can do that. We can grow that number. So I talked to Frank Scott, who is our district foundation chair, and I said, how can I just have a small way to get everybody into their Rotary Direct account? So I challenge you, $67 more than you gave last year. And if you could do that by going in through Rotary Direct, then we could meet Mark's challenge of having more people on My Rotary. $67 is I came up with 6670. I asked Frank if we could do $66.70. He had a heart attack. I had to pick him up off the floor. He said, Dottie, you don't ask people for pennies. Round it up. Round it up. So I rounded it to $67. That is less than $6 a month. If you drink a fancy beer once a month, you spend $6 a month. If you drink a fancy coffee a month, you spend $6 a month. I think that if we can get in, like Alan and I, when we first started, we gave $10 a month because you can do that just automatically. It comes out, right? And that's 120. That's more than I'm asking. You can do that if you want. I'm going to send you, and I know the slide's been up here in the past. There's a slide with a QR code. I'm going to send it to you tonight. So while you're sitting at your computer, you can go right in with the directions on how to do that if you're interested. If we did that in District 6670, if every one of us did it, we would raise an additional $154,000 from our district for the foundation. You guys gave 42,121 last year. 6,900 of it was to the annual fund, 600 to polio, and 33,000 went through the Bequest Society. That's an average of $105 a person, and I applaud you for that. You should applaud yourselves. Well, now we don't clap in this club, but in Fairborn Club, we clap over everything. So if each of you gave $67 more, that would add an additional 4,221. That would almost double not counting the Request Society. Just a thought. On Rotary Direct, you can make the donation electronically. It's easy. I'm going to send you that Rotary Direct platform QR code tonight. Rotary Foundation is rated every year by an organization called Charity Navigator. Charity Navigator rates everybody who belongs to a charitable organization. We are always a 4-star, and we are always in the top 10. I just saw a chart not too long ago. I think we were number 5 in the United States. It's an amazing organization where the money comes back to us in 3 years. We get to use it for our grants, and you guys are going to be received what, $16,000 in grants, right? I think it was 16. I have it written in here somewhere. $16,000 in grants. So the money you give comes back to you 3 years from now. It's amazing. Couple of things that we've got going on. We have a couple of polio events. We are going to sing out polio. I'm sure Dawn has told you about this, right? We're going to sing out polio at On Par here in Beavercreek on October the 10th. Right now, I have 9 people signed up to sing. There's lots more space for more people to sing. How will we make money for polio that night? Everybody who comes, who votes for the best singer, will vote with money. Bring money in your pockets and we will vote. I have another idea about how we can grow that. One of the things that Mark Maloney asked us, I have to run this past Frank first, but I'll tell you about it. I just had it on the way. I've had this idea on the way here today. If they want us to grow Polio Plus Society members, it costs $100. So what if somebody wanted to give us $100 for their Polio Plus Society in the name of their winning singer? So think about that. I'm going to run that past Frank and make sure we can do that. But I may have some of you coming and giving us donations that will go straight into your Polio Plus Society membership. Eric talks to you about RLI all the time. Don't ignore his RLI emails. I'm sure he probably comes around, taps you on the shoulder and says it's your turn. Stephanie said, just say yes. We have 3 emerging leaders went with us this year to Zone Institute from our district. Youth exchange, when you hear things from Steve Noss about youth exchange, I know you always participate in that, and you participate in the things that we do here in Greene County when we invite clubs or invite all of the youth exchange students to Wright State every year. That's a great event. That's a lot of fun. Continue to do that. Steve Noss is the person that we interviewed in episode 3 of our podcast. Kelly Lehman, we have some clubs who have reached out to us and said, we need to get more involved in the peace initiatives of Rotary. And so we have some clubs that are looking at putting in some peace. Kelly Lehman will be reaching out with some activities and some things that we can do to participate in peace initiatives. And if this club is seeing that some of those might be some things that you want to do, then listen and answer those requests from Kelly Lehman. Shannon has been involved in RILA for years, and he just gave me the dates for, thank you, honey. He gives me my 5-minute warning. So we have that coming up in March, the last weekend in March. When you hear from Beth Huber and you want to participate in the, if you have students who want to participate in the 4-way speech contest. Have you guys ever who's been to the 4-way speech contest? It's amazing. First of all, they're not allowed to use notes. They have everything memorized. And what really, really impresses me is the fact that these young people, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, hit the nail on the head when they are relating the 4-way test to their lives. It's beautiful. So if you have an opportunity, that's the Sunday of the same weekend of RILA this year. We have the environmental committee. We have 45 clubs doing 45 projects. You guys actually received $16,648 in grants last year. I had $61,000 to play with this year. Heidi Schiller will have $75,000 next year to play with. So think about those grants that you're applying for. Wendy Kissel, if you don't know that name, she is the chair of my Interact and Rotaract committees. So as you're thinking about your Interact club, do you have an Interact club at Beavercreek? You do?
No.
Sort of?
It's not active.
It's not active. So here's the thing. Wendy has worked really hard to learn all the kinks of trying to get those reactivated. So if someone here would like to take that on and contact, I can get you Wendy's contact information and we can help to make that happen. Can get that Interact Club. Here's what we found out. So, every year as Rotary Club members, we have to update all, who's our president, who's our president-elect, who's all chairs of all our things in district, who's the chairs of all our things. Well, many of us didn't know that we also have to update the name of the person who is the teacher from the high school. And if it stays the same person every year, we still have to put their name in. So we had some clubs that became dormant because, and some of them were still very active, but according to Rotary International, they didn't see it because we didn't know that we were supposed to update the name of the teacher from the high school or the counselor from the high school. So, but Wendy's got that under control now. She's going to help us to stay on top of it. And then the last thing is that podcast. We're still doing the newsletter. I spend an hour and a half at least once a week in the car on my way up to see my mom and an hour and a half on the way back. And so I started a couple of years ago listening to podcasts. So I thought, what if we did a podcast? And it's called Rotary District 6670 Service of Self Podcast. It's really hard to remember. Has a really bright, beautiful picture that I created. There it is, right there. And there's a QR code. So I'm going to send that to you tonight too. And then you can go in and go into that QR code. We just recorded episode 4. And that is with John Durham. The first one was about the environment. The second one was about action plan and membership. The third one was about Steve Nas and the Rotary Youth Exchange. We're trying next month will be foundation. We'll talk with Frank Scott. So trying to kind of sort of follow the Rotary calendar. So please take a listen to our podcast. It's kind of fun. I'm having a good time. And the chamber right here in Beavercreek is helping us. They're allowing us to use their facility. So it's been good. So I'll close just real quickly with, I thank you. I believe in this organization. I believe from the bottom of my heart that we are a part of something much bigger and much better because we are together, because we work together in our communities. You do great things in Beavercreek. We can do great things in this district and for Rotary International. Again, I learned from John Durham yesterday, in 1970s, polio was rampant. They put together one global grant to work in the Philippines. They eradicated polio in the Philippines. But as you know, polio is rampant through people. And if anybody travels to another country, you take it with you. And so then they said, now what do we do? How do we grow this? And we partnered with lots of organizations, and it has cost us billions of dollars over the years. But right now, there are 37 cases in the world. They are all in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of this and to help you to help others to make a better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. Chris Hadley, you got 20 seconds to tell me the monarch butterfly thing you sent me.
Yeah, so, go through the Beaver, or Green County Library's website or the Beavercreek Wetland Association website on Tuesday. They are doing monarch tagging at one event, so you can learn what to look for, learn about butterflies. This on Tuesday, if you do volunteer, your team has a local Girl Scout to help them do the same thing as well. But if you can't do it this Tuesday, there's more in the future that you volunteer for.
Awesome, thank you.
Dave, I have left-handed pens. If anyone would like a left-handed pen, I'll about these for me, and you're all looking at me like, what are left-handed pens? Those of you who are left-handed, I'll give you one first, and then you can look and see what you want. Okay, so we have it left. Sorry. This morning, Westchester Liberty, there were 20 people in the room and 7 of them were left-handed. Oh, well, I said, well, it's people who.
Stay away from that. So as has become our custom, we'll be donating a book on ties they have to the Green County Public Library, the Beavercreek branch, and she assigns a person here. Was okay. So next week's program is your guy, right? Peter Savard, and he spoke to us a couple years ago. He has a program about providing clean water throughout the world. It's really an awesome program that he talks about, and it's really neat. So come if you can, bring a guest. Next week's greeters are Bob Pachoy and Joe Jenkins, our secretary. I don't think we've had the secretary be a greeter before, but whatever. Keep an eye on our social media and website for upcoming programs. So tell me, does anybody have any announcements for the club? Shane.
If you haven't signed the Debbie Gross card, send it up front, make sure you sign it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you all rise for the pledge, please. Diane, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for 60 years, one nation, proud, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Thanks a lot. It's maybe so much more. Very much. So it's been right there. Which one? Right, it's absolutely, and quick one right down. Yes, the other thing, it's like, what? Maybe I've got it. Guy talked about that, it's got, a stretch from factory to. Brandon House. It's going on. Sure. They might have like. No, I agree. But that's the East Coast, that's. To. It's almost much time of the year to do it, so. Yes, it is. Would be very good. With Brad. But yeah, can be all right. Yeah, I'm glad. But yeah. Oh. I just but to how that. It's a lot of hours. You get the word. Stand. Wow. No. We. Yeah. So, myself. He's not like, we go, that's pretty. I just learned with you how weeks ago, so. We have a lot of times they have to have it around. Yeah, so they're all right there. So she can move on there. Well, okay. So here we with the reverting goal, so there. You. But in there.
Forgot to add in commissioner money from last week to this week. I went on my lap. And last week, my laptop, so I was yes.
Oh, well, put it on my stuff there. And I'll put it, you know. Oh, it's right here. You know, just thanks, I'll never go back. Put on, my house, put on, put on that. I watch that, and there's more, you know, he's. 318 or I don't want to be here next. I'm gonna be in Washington getting drunk. And we're going to, my wife and I are going to wine rose. Nice. Tough break, huh? Sign up to get on the popcorn committee.
Yeah,
Pancake.
yeah.
I marked the spot, but it doesn't register that I'm on the committee. Oh,
When did you try and do it?